Hello, this is Michael Kraut with Idea Dudes, and this is a course introduction to Microsoft Windows Server 2008, Configuring a Network Infrastructure Part 1. Now this is for the 70-642 exam. The Microsoft Windows Server system is a registered trademark of Microsoft Corporation in the United States and other countries. So, in this course, it's going to be part 1 of a two-part series. Provides a solid foundation in configuring a network infrastructure, prepares you to take the 70-642. Throughout the course, I'll be giving you examples of things that you need to watch out for when it comes to taking the exam. In our demos and so forth, I'll tell you, hey, this is an exam tip, or we'll also may have some slides that will have exam tips also. So just keep a watch out for this. This is the 70-642. Now the 640 was more on Active Directory, installing Windows Server 2008, configuring it and so forth. 70-642, we're going more into the infrastructure. So we're going to be looking at different things, the different hosts or the different services for our hosts, like our Win server, our DNS server, NetBIOS, LM host, all those different things. Plus, we'll be looking at IP version 4, IP version 6, and so forth. So it covers IP addressing. So we're going to look at both avenues, because IP version 6 is out there. The government is actually pushing for IP version 6 because IP version 6 has IPSec built into it and so forth. And we'll be talking about routing, IPSec. We'll look at DNS, remote and wireless network access. Network access protection, configure the file and print services also. And the distributed file system. Distributed file system, as we've found out in Windows 2003, we had DFS. But DFS has changed now. We have DFSR, which is Distributed File System Replication. And if you went through, and you should have gone through the 490, 491, and 492, those all dealt with the new things within an Active Directory. And one of the things is we can move FRS, which is a file replication service, over to distributed file system replication. And distributed file replication has some changes to it that makes it so it's like a drip type of replication service instead of where it is with FRS, which was very hard to troubleshoot and so forth. And then monitoring Windows Server 2008 infrastructure. I mean, if you haven't looked at the event viewer, is on steroids. I'm talking there, you can track anything in it. Plus, we have the performance monitor with the data collector sets. We have the other monitors that are built in. We're going to show you all those different ones. Things have really changed with Windows 2008 versus what we had in Windows 2003. So we're going to look at configuring IP addressing, routing, and IPSec. IPSec, layer 2 tunneling protocol. We can use it for VPNs and so forth. Remember, we have point-to-point tunneling protocol, which PPTP was proprietary to Microsoft. Well, we got IPSec, which is layer 2 tunneling protocol, and it uses certificates. It also is more secure than the PPTP. We'll also be looking at configuring name resolution using domain name system or domain name server. And DNS, you know about DNS. When you go on to your website and you type in http www.microsoft.com, well, what it's going to do is it's going to resolute to the actual domain. It's going to say, hey, root domain, where is Microsoft? Microsoft, hey, where is the www? And sends back the information to you. So we're going to talk about the DNS. We're going to install the DNS. We're going to become intimate with DNS. We're going to configure remote wireless access. We're going to look at the different types of protocols that we have, 802.11a, 802.11b, G, N, and so forth. So we'll look at some of the different things involving with the remote and wireless network access. Configuring NAP. Network access protection. This is totally cool. This allows us to be able to block people from coming into our network that they don't have their information up to date, such as their service packs or their firewall settings or any of those different things. So we're going to show you how to implement network access protection, show you how we can use it within our environment to make our environment more pristine. And then configuring file and print services. Now, file and print services has changed. We have a new file infrastructure with DFSR and all the different things there. And we also have a new print server. We're going to introduce you to that. And then monitoring, managing a network infrastructure. So your course prerequisites, students should have a solid foundation understanding of Microsoft Server operating systems, and also common internet technologies, because we're going to be going over different things like HTTP, FTP, SNMTP, POP3, any of those different technologies that deal with the internet. And then also you should have taken the Windows Server configuration Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. There are actually 3 parts to that, and you should go through all those. So looking at the module topics, we have the course introduction, understanding configuring network connections, looking at all the different ones, such as wireless connections, dial-up connections, VPN connections, understanding IP version 4 and IP version 6. We'll find out about all the different changes that we do have. Understanding name resolution in Windows Server 2008, looking at DNS, WINS, LM host, looking at broadcasting, all the different things, the LLMNR, which is the new resolution protocol we have for IP version 6 in Windows 2008, the network discovery, and all the new changes that we do have in Windows 2008. Deploying a DNS server. We'll go through the installation process, talk about all the different things, Active Directory integrating the DNS server, making it so it's more resilient. And then configuring DNS client settings so we can actually use DNS. So our primary or our premier or the DNS server that's going to be controlling our whole environment, and also our alternate DNS server, and how we can control the suffixes and how things are working. Creating and configuring zones, forward lookup zones, reverse lookup zones. Replication and transfers, installing DHCP server so we can automatically give out IP addresses, configuring DHCP server, configuring IP routing, and configuring IPSec. So when you look at the curriculum path, this is where you're going. You got Microsoft Windows Server 2008, configuring a network infrastructure part 1, then part 2. And this is for Microsoft Technology Specialist exam. It's 70-642, which counts towards your MCITP, which is Microsoft Certified IT Professional, Enterprise Administrator, and also counts towards the MCITP Server Administrator certifications. There are going to be labs that you can download by clicking on the pay-per-click link. Make sure that you go through, do the labs, because it's going to reinforce the material and also help you with your real-world environment. Questions or comments, you can always put them in the GoGo box. Let's get started.